Everyone talks about Zoolander like it's hilarious, like it's wall to wall laughs, like it's this untouchable comedy classic. And I'm watching this movie and I'm just sitting there waiting for that version of a movie to show up. And it kind of didn't. Like, not really. I laughed, sure, like once or twice, but mostly I was just sitting there thinking, am I missing something? And roughly halfway through the movie, it just hit me like, I don't actually like this movie. I think I just like remembering it as, well, being funny or that I'm liking this movie. Because in your head, Zoolander is like a highlight reel. We got the blue steel, the gasoline fight, the files are in the computer joke, and then we have Will Ferrell as Mugatu screaming like a lunatic. Sure, I get it. But a movie isn't its highlights, it's everything in between. And oof, there's a lot of space between those moments. The opening runway stuff, well, that still works. Derek talking to himself absurdly seriously, the slow motion walks, the dramatic poses, the jokes land immediately. And that joke is funny, but then it just, well, it keeps being the same joke over and over again. And you start to feel that this is somewhat of a stretch. And apparently, there's a reason for that. And you can feel it even if you don't know the trivia. I looked it up. Derek Zoolander wasn't really created for a movie. Ben Stiller came up with the character for a 5 minute sketch at the VH1 Fashion Awards. 5 minutes. Well, that makes sense and that's perfect for this character because Derek Zoolander, he is a one joke character. A great one joke character, don't get me wrong, but still one joke, right? And the movie feels like 90 minutes of that joke being pulled thinner and thinner. It's just not working. Take the gasoline fight scene. Yeah, it still gets a laugh. Models splashing gasoline on each other, striking poses, then blowing themselves up. It's stupid in the right way. But after that scene ends, there's nothing added to the joke. No evolution, no twist, not even like a second layer or sorts. Same with the files are in the computer joke. People quote it constantly. I see it in memes. It lives forever online. But watching it play out again, you get the joke instantly and then it just keeps going. The movie is basically waiting for you to laugh again just out of recognition. And that happens a lot in this movie. You're not laughing because something surprised you. You're reacting because you remember that this is supposed to be funny. And that's somewhat of a dangerous place for a comedy to live, now isn't it? Mugatu is another great example of this. Will Ferrell comes in at full volume, and yeah, he never really changes. There's no build, no escalation. It's not possible to escalate because he's already there at max capacity. There's no contrast, it's just loud, then louder, and still loud. That energy works maybe in clips and memes, but it gets exhausting across an entire movie. And then we have the assassination plot, the brainwashing, the fashion conspiracy. It's all just kind of there to connect scenes. It's not clever enough to carry a runtime of a movie, really. It's not absurd enough to become surreal. It just is, it just exists. What surprised me most is how little the movie grows. Technically, there is a character arc for Derek, and that would be Derek realizing that there's more to life than modeling, but it's barely explored, really. It's just enough story to justify getting him from one bit to the next. So you end up with this weird feeling. You're watching a movie everyone calls hilarious, and you're mostly just waiting for the parts you remember. At least I was. And that's when it becomes clear what Zoolander really is. It's not a great comedy movie, it's somewhat of a great memory machine. It works in quotes, it works in memes and clips, it works in shared references. But sitting down and watching it straight through on your own, yeah, that experience is way thinner than its reputation. And that's worse for a comedy than just being outright bad, because a bad comedy, well, can be extremely memorable. This one is mostly remembered for, well, I don't really know, for some clips, some memes, I guess. So for me, yeah, this movie lands at roughly at a 4 out of 10, not because it's terrible, not really, not because it's offensive, but because a chuckle here and there for a comedy, it's not enough to carry a full movie. It's not enough for a comedy movie. I think Zoolander works best as a highlight reel or something that you quote, but not as something you actually sit down and rewatch. And realizing that was way more interesting than the movie itself, I think. So that's my take on the movie. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye bye.